Hello students, welcome back to Tuition Masters Class 9th and 10th YouTube channel, and today we are here with doing the session number 2 for your grade 9 chapter of Nazism and the Rise of Hitler. So in today's session, session 2, we are going to complete the whole chapter. Alright, so as you guys know, in our last session we discussed about the Weimar Republic, effects of World War II on Germany, and how did Hitler came to power and what are rules he applied. In our today's session, we are going to learn about the Nazi worldview. What did racial state come and the racial utopia? Even we will learn about the youth in Germany, the art of propaganda, and ordinary people who were facing the crimes against humanity. So these short six topics are going to cover today and complete the whole chapter. So let us begin with this session 2 of Nazism and the Rise of Hitler. Make sure to like this video, share with friends, and subscribe to the channel right away. So let us start with the Nazi worldview. Now, we know that as Hitler came to power, crimes were committed by the Nazi party too, and they were linked to a belief system and a set of practices. The killing and all were connected because of a racial hierarchy which was established. Okay, now according to this ideology, what they said was there was no equality between people but only a racial hierarchy. So there is no equality, people are not equal. Okay, people are not equal, nothing, there is racial hierarchy should be there. That was the idea of Nazi party. Colored people were placed in between depending upon their external features. Okay, based on the external features, people were discriminated. Now, this racism, how did he get it? How did Hitler get this racism in his mind? So, you guys have very well know about Charles Darwin. You have studied in biology, correct? Charles Darwin, he studied about plants and animals, about evolution and natural selection. No, not only selection, it was natural selection. And if you know, Herbert Spencer had given the quote survival of the fittest. Okay, based on that, Hitler took that and in a wrong way. But natural selection, Charles Darwin and Herbert Spencer met that the animals which are weak, they may die. Okay, they may die, and the stronger one will survive. But that will happen naturally. But in Hitler's case, Hitler took it in the wrong way. He said that only the Nordic German Aryans are the fittest. Only they are supposed to survive, others should die. It had to retain its purity, become stronger, and dominate the world. Nazi had that argument. The strongest race would survive and the weak ones would perish. Okay, so he took the survival of the fittest wala quote in a wrong way. He said that the Aryan race is the finest race of all. That is the best, fittest state. All right. Now, what were the geopolitical aspects? Geopolitical aspects. First one, he believed that new territories had to be acquired for settlement. These new territories were known as Lebensraum, also known as living space. This was enhance the area of the mother country so that new territories are made Lebensraums, correct? Then it would enhance the material resources and power of the German nation, correct? All the material resources they can be easily taken. It will enable the settlers on new lands to retain an intimate link with the place of their origin. From where they originated, they can still contain a link between them. So, what did he do? Hitler intended to extend German boundaries by moving it eastwards. So, he extended Germany eastwardly. Okay, he concentrated all the Germans geographically in one place only. Alright, in one place only, and Poland became the laboratory for this experimentation. So, for this experiments and all, Poland was used as a thing. All right. Now, Next comes up as we talk about the racial state, how was it established? Nazis wanted only a society of pure and healthy Nordic Aryans. They said that Nazis said that only Aryans we need, others should be eliminated, and they only the Aryans were considered as desirables. Only we need Aryans, remaining should be thrown out. They wanted to eliminate who were undesirable, like the non-Germans, non-Aryan, non-Germans, and all of them. They were considered as undesirable. Next, there was a program known as euthanasia. That means killing of people who are mentally and physically disabled. Okay, so many mentally and physically were condemned to death. So people who are mentally physically ill, as per Nazi, it was that they are undesirable. We do not need them, so they were killed. Okay, one thing was that Hitler never used the terms such as killing, murdering, or something, correct? He always used special terms, for example, euthanasia, then final solution, special treatment. Such things were used by Hitler to um, kill the people. All right. Now, who were considered undesirable? Who were the undesirable group of people? First one, gypsies. Sorry, Jews. Second one, gypsies and the blacks. Third one, Poles. And fourth one were Russians. These four were considered undesirable. Jews especially were considered undesirable at a very high rate. Gypsies and blacks who lived in the Nazi Germany were considered as inferiors. You're inferior, you're nothing. And they were threatened by biological purity of superior Aryan race that were widely persecuted. Okay, so basically, Hitler said that gypsies, Jews, Polish, all of these are inferior races. Only Aryan race is the best and the superior race of everyone. All right. Now, who were the sufferers? Jews, as I said, remain the worst sufferers in Nazi Germany. Okay, and the traditional Christian hostility towards Jews. They had been stereotyped as killers of Christ. So, Jews and Christians do not get a bond together. Why? Because they are stereotyped. They are said that the ones who killed Jesus Christ was Jews only. They had been stereotyped as usurers. Okay, and they had to live in ghettos. There was a place in concentration camps and all that was known as ghettos, and they were persecuted there. Now, who were the sufferers? So basically, as I said, Jews were they were periodic organized violence and expulsion from, you have a land and everything, we are taking it, you're no one. Okay, and this hatred of Hitler, okay, Hitler hated Jews because of the pseudo scientific theories of race. Okay, that pseudo scientific theory of race said that they should be totally eliminated. 1933 to 38, Nazis terrorized, pauperized, and segregated the Jews from their own territory. And they had to leave the country. They were segregated, they were thrown in gas chambers where they were eventually killed. So they were transported to the gas chambers in Poland and they were killed over there. Alright. Moving towards the racial utopia. Under the shadow of the war, Nazis proceeded to realize their murderous racial ideals. So they understood that they were realizing the ideas they were there. Genocide and war. It was nothing but the two sides of the same coin. One coin has a head also, tail also. Similarly, in the coins of Germany, there were two sides, genocide and war. It became that way. Poland was divided between Soviet Union and Germany. Okay, Poland was divided that way. Much of the northwestern Poland was annexed by Germany, annexed as in occupied. So most amount of Poland was occupied by Germany. Poles, the Polish people were forced to leave their homes and property. By you are Polish, you are undesirable, get out of the country. That's how they were treated. It was occupied by ethnic Germans brought in from occupied Europe. From Europe, all the ethnic Germans were coming and staying in the place of the Poles. Next, what happened to the Polish then? They were forced, they were compelled to leave their homes and go to somewhere else, wherever you want to go. And the ethnic Germans came there. They were herded like cattle in other part called the general government. The destination of all the undesirables, these Polish, Jews, everything were thrown in the general government where they were killed. Members of Polish intelligentsia, they were murdered in large numbers. Okay, and to keep the entire people intellectually and spiritually servile. So in the name that okay, we are going to take you to the general government, that intellectually and spiritually you will be treated. But there nothing happened, they were directly killed. So that what treatment was given to Polish people. Now there was a race test done. See, what happened was children, they were forcibly snatched from their mothers. Okay, the Polish children also who looked like Aryans. What qualities Aryans had? They had blonde hairs. Okay, blonde hairs, then blue eyes. Okay, that kind of qualities the this had the this pure Germans had. I mean, not pure Germans as in the Aryans had. So even the Polish children looked like Aryans. They were taken. Oh, we don't care who are mothers. They will snatch it, give it to the race experts. They will do the race test. They will take very minute details. If they are proved that no, they're not Aryans, they will throw the children in orphanages. But if they were said that yeah, you are Aryan, very good, so they were raised in good German families with full on facilities. But others who failed were the children were thrown in orphanages. Now, how were the death done? Steps to death. Stage 1 was exclusion from 33 to 39. Step 2 was ghettoization 40 to 44. And stage 3 was annihilation from 41 onwards. What was exclusion? Only persons of German or related blood would henceforth be German citizens enjoying the protection of German Empire. People said that these Aryans only are the true range, correct? So the people are related would be the German citizens and enjoy German Empire protection. Marriage is between Jews. If you are a Jew, you are in an affair with the Germans, that is not allowed. Extramarital relations with Jews and German, crime. And Jews are forbidden to fly the national flag as well. You cannot touch a national flag also. Okay, so that is how that was exclusion. They were excluding people. Next one was ghettoization. From September 41 onwards, all Jews had to wear a yellow star of David on their breast. Okay, this had a mark like these are Jew people. Okay, so this identity mark was stamped on their passport, legal documents, houses, and everywhere. And they were kept in Jewish houses in Germany and in ghettos like Lodz and Warsaw in the east. That is why this it is known as ghettoization. Soon, ghettos were brimming with hunger, starvation, disease due to deprivation and poor hygiene. So no one took care of hygiene. You are due to go there, stay there, die, whatever, we don't care. So that was due to such poor conditions, there were hunger and starvation. The next step was annihilation. Annihilation was Jews. They were taken from their houses, thrown into concentration camps and ghettos. Okay, from different parts. Okay, sorry, from concentration camp, ghettos, and their houses. They were taken and they were put it in the goods train and taken to the death factories. In Poland, most notably Belzec, Auschwitz, Sobibor, Treblinka, Chalmon, and Medink. These were the most famous gas chambers. And mass killings took place within just minutes with scientific precision. People were thrown in one room, locked the door, they had filled the room with a poison gas that scientists made during that time, and people were killed in minutes. So these were the three steps. Exclusion was the first one, then they thought ghettoization, then they directly murdered them. Next topic is the youth in Germany. Nazi Germany. Hitler was fanatically interested in the youth of the country. He said the youth will only handle the country. I am not immortal. I'll not stay alive for every time. So youth is the only next future of the country. He felt that strong Nazi society could be established by teaching the Nazi ideology that Jews bad, Aryans good. That was the ideology. Now, it required control over the children even inside the school and outside as well. So, what happened in schools under Nazism? All schools were cleansed and purified. That means all the Jews and who were politically unreliable, the undesirable people, the teacher were dismissed. Children were segregated. They said, German Jews, you can sit together, play together, be away. Jews, physically handicapped, gypsies, they were thrown out. You are this, you are go to concentration camp, we will give you special solution there. They were thrown away. Now, the undesirable children, they were thrown away and were taken to gas chambers. Even to children, such things were happening. Now, what happened to the good German children, good as in the Aryans? What happened to them? They were given Nazi schooling. They were given the very, very appropriate and the finest education with ideological training. Textbooks were rewritten as per the Nazi ideology, and racial science was introduced to justify um, a Nazi ideology. To explain that, they even made a book on racial science that Jews, Gypsies, they are bad, only German Aryans are good. Now, stereotypes were popularized even through maths classes. Even through math class, where stereotypes were given. Children were thought to be loyal and submissive to Hitler, hate the Jews, and hail Hitler. Sports had to nurture a spirit of violence and aggression among children. Now, boxing could make children iron hearted, strong, and masculine. So that's why boxing was introduced. Youth organizations were responsible for educating German youth in the spirit of National Socialism to devote children into Hitler and even hate them from all this Jews and everything. Such things were taken place. What were youth organization? 10-year-olds, okay, 10-year-olds are to enter the young walk. At 14, they had to join the Nazi youth organization, which was also known as the Hitler Youth. At the age of 18, you have to join the labor service, and after 18, you have to do in the armed forces. So you understand 10 young walk, 14 Hitler Youth, 18 labor service, after 18 armed forces. That's how the schedule went. Then, Hitler Youth and Organization, okay? Youth League of the Nazis was founded in 1922. After 4 years, it was renamed as Hitler Youth. Worship war and violence, condemn democracy, hate Jews, communists, gypsies, and all those categories are undesirable. So that is what was explained to them. So here you see Hitler giving speeches to the Aryan people that war and violence very good, democracy bad, Jews, communists, gypsies bad. That's how they were taught. Now, the Nazi cult of motherhood. Nazi Germany, children were told women were different from it. They were telling women, no, very, very inferior. They are supposed to live in only houses, do nothing. They were telling that, wow, you're boys. You're taught to be aggressive. You should be aggressive, steel hearted, and masculine. Goals, they were said that you have to just become good mothers and you have to produce pure blooded Aryan children. That is on your work, nothing else you have to do. Just become pure, just be good mothers and produce pure blooded Aryan. So you understand what kind of bad stereotypical society it was. Goals are to maintain purity of race, distance from Jews, look after their home, and teach their children Nazi values. No Jews, no, 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 we cannot go towards Jews. Also, purity of race and the Nazi values to their children, they had to teach. Those wrong Nazi values. Next, women. Women who bore racially undesirable children were sorry racially desirable I'm sorry racially desirable children were awarded. Women who produced the Aryan race, the who were the desirable, obviously the Aryans, they were given award. Oh my god, so good. Women produced a pure Aryan, you are awarded. Honor crosses like this were awarded to those women to encourage and produce more such people. Aryan women who deviated from prescribed code of conduct were publicly condemned and severely punished. Who did not produce a raised voice, they were punished. Then, what was the punishment given? The people who maintained contact with these Jews and everything, they were paraded through the town with shades. Their heads were shaved, their faces were blackened. Placards were hanging that I have sullied the honor of the nation. That means I am a betrayer, I am this, that way they had to done. And after that, they were killed and under the name of criminal offense. Next is the art of propaganda. You remember I explained you what is propaganda? The propaganda refers to the false publicity, correct? The false publicity. Who was the minister? It was Joseph Goebbels who was the that minister of propaganda. Nazi termed, as I said, Hitler never used the words as killing and everything. He said that we have to give people special treatment, final solution, euthanasia and everything. These terms he used to eliminate people. Evacuation. He said that okay, it's time to evacuate. That means he is going to take the people, throw them in the gas chambers, which look like disinfection areas. So you understand how the propaganda was there. Now, how were these ideas separated? Nazis' ideas spread through the images, films, radio, slogans, everything were made to give these ideas. Posters. Okay, the enemies of Germans were stereotyped, mocked, abused, and described as evil people. Now, Nazi made equal efforts to appeal to all different nations of the population that do this, hate Jews and everything. They sought to win their support by suggesting that Nazis can only solve their problem. That was the propaganda, right? That only Nazi can do, we will do, we are God, Hitler is God, that's it, no one else can do. That was the propaganda here. Okay, now what was the purpose of these? Were the names of some propaganda films of that time. Okay, they these propaganda films are made so that people can hate Jews. They used to show wrong things about Jews, and the infamous film was the Eternal Jew. If you have time, if you should watch it. They were showing the flowing beard. Okay, they were shown the with flowing beards wearing kaftans, and they were referred as vermin, rats, and pests, and movements were compared to those of rodents. Okay, so that is how the Jews were reflected in these propaganda films. Last topic of the full chapter is the ordinary people and these crimes against humanity. Anger sourced inside them when they saw someone who looked like a Jew. People who look like Jew, they got furious by looking. They marked the Jew houses and reported as suspicious neighbors. Okay, they also believe that Nazism will bring prosperity to the Germany, but not every German was Nazi. Correct? Not every, although not entire Germany was Nazi. Okay, many organized active resistance to Nazism also, but police repression and death. Large majority of Germans were passive onlookers and apathetic witnesses, and they were very scared to act, to protest, and they said that okay, whatever have we are just supposed to live, produce Aryans, that's it, nothing else are going to focus. Let's say normal, or else we will be killed. Now, Pastor Neumiller. Pastor Neumiller observed an absence of protest and uncanny silence among ordinary Germans in the face of brutal and organized crimes committed against people in Nazi Empire. He wrote movingly about the silence. So he observed that no people, this is so wrong, still people are not protesting anything. So what he wrote, first they came for the socialist and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionist, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. So you understand what? He never spoke for someone others, never spoke for anyone. But when it came upon them, no one else also spoke for them. So that's why he wanted that everyone should rise up and protest. What was the effect now? What does Charlotte Briard describe in her book called The Third Reich of Dreams? Okay, Third Reich of Dreams. If we ever can, read this book, or if there is any movie, try to understand. Here, the author described how Jews themselves began believing in Nazi stereotypes about Nazi stereotypes and everything. How did they explain? They dreamed of they have a hooked nose, they have black hair eyes, and they are very bad looking, and their body movements are very bad. That's what Jews were considered. Such stereotypical images were troubled them even in their dreams, and Jews died many deaths even before they reached the gas chamber due to such compression. Okay, now the Holocaust. Holocaust was nothing but the information about the atrocities when Nazi came to surface only after ending of war. Okay, in Germany's defeat the war came, so all these atrocities came to know. The world came to learn about the horrors of what has happened actually here. So they remembered the atrocities and suffering that had endured during Nazi killing operation known as Holocaust. The major killing of so many people was known as Holocaust. Nazi leadership distributed petrol to its functionaries to destroy all incriminating evidence available in office. All this fiction, documentaries, poetry, memorials, museum, and memoirs. Everything should be burnt and destroyed to ashes. That was what was done in Holocaust. So with this, students, we have completed with the full chapter of Nazism and the rise of Hitler. So yes, this was a third chapter of history that is also now completed. So with this, make sure to like this video, share with friends, and subscribe the channel right away. Thank you so much for watching again. Next, we are going to start with more interesting chapters. Okay, and I'll be seeing you very soon in upcoming videos. And take care and goodbye.